Welcome to Women Igniting Change, the place to be for women leaders and decision makers who are passionate about changing the world and determined to act. I'm your host, Robbin Jorgensen, former corporate executive, global speaker, and founder and CEO of Women Igniting Change. Let's dive in. Hello, change makers. Welcome back to the Women Igniting Change podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about becoming the leader that your social impact is going to require. And I wanted to do this topic because when you think of the social impact that you want to put out into the world, it is going to require more of you. I mean, right now, of course, you're an amazing human being. But as you step out and put your talents and your expertise and your guidance and your passion out there, it is going to require more. And it's going to require that you step into the leader that you need to be in order to make that happen. So I wanted to give you 5 different categories for you to reflect on and think through that you're going to need to step into. And the first one is skill sets. So you're going to have to elevate your skill sets and require more of yourself in order to move your social impact forward. So think through some of the skills that you may need to develop in order to put your social impact out into the world. And maybe one of them is public speaking. So you may need to give presentations that outline your idea to an investor, or you might need to deliver a keynote that showcases how your idea is going to revolutionize the sector that you want to affect change in. You also may be required to negotiate. So this could be with collaborators around your idea, or maybe it's finding a way to infuse your idea into an already existing social change initiative. Advocacy could be another skill that you need to cultivate. And that could be either with your local legislature, or maybe it's even advocating all the way to Congress. Either way, if that's a component of the social change that you want to have, and you've never had any advocacy training before, that's something that you're going to want to invest time and learning around. So I want you to really be ready when that time comes to move your social impact forward. Another skill set you may have to cultivate is how to lead and manage a team. So depending on how big you want your social impact to become, it might require that you hire a team to help you. And if you've never managed other people before, trust me, from being in corporate for 20 plus years, I was in a position early in my career where I'd never managed anyone. And then because I was good at what I did, I was now leading my previous colleagues. There were 18 people, and I'd never led or managed anyone. So it definitely is a skill set that you need to learn and acquire. So if your social impact requires you to scale it to a degree where you're going to be leveraging a team, that's certainly something that you're going to want to step into and learn more about those skills to scale and cultivate that. One of the skills that I had to personally learn when we started working in Rwanda was how to work with government leaders in a foreign country. It was nothing I had ever done before, but I knew how important it was going to be to not only address them in the proper manner, but to learn everything that I could about how to work with them. So begin to think through the skills that you're going to need 5 years from now, based on where you would like your social impact to be and who you need to be to run it at that time. So this could be something that you're doing it full time, or it could be something you're doing on the side, or you're partnering with someone else, but you're still going to be required to step into something more and become someone more in order to make that happen. So the second category is education. So if you haven't already, you're going to need to do a massive deep dive into the social impact arena that you want to put into the world and do your research. What is the history around this topic? What's been done so far to address it? Who are the key players in this space? Are there podcasts, books, or white papers that you can read or listen to increase your acumen around this topic? So really do a massive deep dive and almost become obsessed to devour everything that's in that category so you feel really solid and educated around that topic. The third category is how you act, think, and speak. And again, you're going to be required to become more of who you already are at an elevated level to move your social impact forward. So if you're going to be the face of whatever this impact is, how do you need to show up differently than you do now? So what does that look like? What will you need to do to become more confident, for example? And one of the ways that you can do this is to create a list of I am statements. And this is something that we have all of our clients do, whether they're inside corporate or outside of corporate, is to create a list of I am statements. And I want you to create 25 of these. Things like, I am confident, I am bold, I am resilient, I am tenacious, I am beautiful. 25 of those. And I want you to write them down on a piece of paper. You can type them as well. And I want you to have a list on your phone, one in your house, one in your office, your car, wherever you may need it. Because whenever you are getting ready to do that public speaking or have a negotiation session or advocate on behalf of your social change, whenever you're in a position where you need to elevate and boost that confidence, you simply take those out and you read them and you re-ground yourself in the truth of who you are. And the other thing I want you to do with these is I want you to read them out loud every morning with conviction like you mean it. And you can read these to the dog, to the plant, to the mirror. It doesn't matter. The more you do that on a consistent basis, the more you're going to see your confidence skyrocket, because everything you wrote down is already true, but we sometimes forget that those things are true. So that's something that I'd like you to do as well. I also want you to think about how will you speak with more conviction and clarity around your social impact. So maybe doing the education that I mentioned earlier will help you feel really solid in how and what you're saying, so you can feel that conviction in your voice around your social impact. Is there something else that you need to go and learn and do to feel that conviction? You know, again, when you do that deep dive and you become obsessed, like I am, really obsessed around your social impact, you kind of live and breathe it. So the more that you do that and the more information that you digest, the more conviction and clarity you are going to have as you're putting what you're saying out there. What do you expect of yourself to make your social impact happen? I'm going to say that again. What do you expect of yourself to make your social impact happen? And this is a really big question. And I will tell you, for us, when we started working in Rwanda 7 years ago, I really had to step back and ask myself that question. What was I going to expect of me? What was I going to expect of my team that was greater than where we were at the time? And really embody that and put yourself in the spirit of that. For me, I wanted to show more of myself in how I showed up in the world as a global citizen. I wanted to make sure that I had that global lens of how I looked at the world for the work that we were doing. So what is that for you? And I really want you to give that some serious consideration. And what areas do you want to expect more of yourself? And how do you want to show up differently 5 years from now? What do you need to start doing more of? Maybe it's beginning to share your idea with others, or it's starting to speak about your idea and put it out there in new ways. What do you need to stop doing? This could be doubting yourself, right? If you have an idea to create social change, you were given that idea for a reason. And I so want you to trust that. And I promise you, the more that you start to step toward that, the resources and the people that you need to make that real are going to show up. It happens every single time. And we see it with so many people, and we've seen it with what we do as well. Category number 4 are your beliefs. There is something that will shift, grow, and evolve as you step more into doing your social impact. What are the attitudes, the abilities, the behaviors, and the beliefs that you have around yourself now? And if you think of yourself 5 years down the road, how do they shift? And that's a really profound thing to think about. And I really want you to take some time to devour that. How does all of that change for you 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road? And really give yourself some time to reflect on that. What are the attitudes that you need to have around yourself and your social impact 5 years from now that are different than what they are today? What are the beliefs you need to have 5 years from now that you have today, or that you need to change? What are the beliefs you have right now that you need to let go of because they're not meant to come on the journey with you, because they're no longer serving you? What are those beliefs that need to stay back as you move toward your social impact? What are some of the beliefs that you need to adopt to get to where you want to go? One of the ways to look at that is to think through, what are some of the leaders that you deeply admire in the world? These could be part of your family, your community, or famous people that you know that are leaders in your mind. Why do you admire and respect them as a leader? What are the attributes that make them an effective leader that you really look up to and admire and emulate? And what pieces of that do you feel that you would want to step into for yourself to move your social impact forward over the next couple of years? And quantify those and then create action steps that you're going to take to start embodying more of those. One of the ways to do this is a visioning activity that we do with a lot of our clients. And I want you to close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving. Don't close your eyes if you're driving. Wait till you're on the side of the road. But I want you to imagine that you're at a party. There's a beautiful white house with a big front porch on the front of it. And you are standing on this front porch and there's a party going on inside. And this party is being held in your honor, to honor you for all of the extraordinary impact that you've had in this space that matters to you so deeply. And everyone is talking about all of the amazing social change and impact that you've had. What do you hear them saying? And really give yourself some time to think through, what are they saying that you accomplished 5 years from now? And when you hear all of those amazing things, who did you need to become to make that happen? And really give yourself some time and space to do that exercise and see what shows up. And the last category number 5, is self-care. Because in order to go on this journey and have that impact you want to have, you've got to take care of yourself. And I know we know this, but I'm going to remind you, because reminders are never bad. Because a lot of times we are so passionate about what we do that we can get burned out really quickly. And I have totally been guilty of this. So again, these are reminders that we already know, but I'm going to give them to you anyway. And the first is making sure that we all drink enough water. Because as a global society, we are chronically dehydrated. And when you don't have enough hydration, you can't think clearly. Your brain is in a fog, and that affects your mental creativity. And if you get enough water throughout the day, it also gives you more energy as well. So making sure that you stay hydrated. Sleep. Are you getting 7 to 8 hours minimum each night? Because when you suffer from sleep deprivation, you're not working as effectively as you want to during the day. The third element of self-care is exercise. Now, you don't have to be a gym rat and live at the gym, but moving your body throughout the day and making sure that you're getting up 4 or 5 times a day, going for walks, it not only provides great circulation, but it gives you a chance to do almost a pattern interrupt in your thinking, where new ideas can then come into light. Nutrition is another one. And again, I know we know this, but are you paying attention to the fuel that you're giving your body to stay at the top of your game so that you can make your social impact real? And the last element of self-care is your mindset. Because when you're putting any type of social change out into the world, you are likely to get knocked around a little bit. And ensuring that you're doing everything you can to manage your mindset and keep it positive and keep your eye on your deep inner why, that's the key to moving forward. So this could look like daily meditation. It could be checking in with a close friend who believes in you deeply in what you're doing, or it could be reading aloud those I am statements that I mentioned earlier. But mindset should always come before the mechanics, so it's absolutely essential. So I want you to take some time to listen to this episode a couple of times, jot down some notes as to what you're going to do. And I want you to email us at support@womenignitingchange to let us know the action steps that you're going to take. And we will also put that in the show notes. So until next time, keep standing up and speaking out for what matters. We'll see you back here next week. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to Women Igniting Change. I know creating change matters to you. If you enjoy what we talk about on the show, please take one action today and share it with someone who could benefit from listening. Until next time, keep standing up and speaking out for what matters.